All right, welcome to the conference room here at Weidenbach Hall. Following Michigan's rather quick and fairly definitive win over Northwestern, 3-0. My name is Nick Hornburg, joining me Alex Hsi, and with us of the team, Cori Crocker. Cori, thank you very much for coming and talking to us after tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So we talked about it a little bit before, but this was a quick game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's your first sweep in a while. Do you feel that you kind of needed this after really the last couple weeks haven't really gone your way?
Totally. I think that's one of the biggest things that we have been talking about recently is kind of getting our swagger and confidence back. You know, in the beginning of the season, we started off really, really strong, and we continued through the Big Ten really strong. And I think that we just kind of had a little bump in the road. It's a long season. It's a hard conference to be playing in. And I think that we had a decision to make, either roll over or fight back. And I think that we're on a good way up right now, leading into the Big Ten or the NCAA tournament.
And it's the end of the season, so you're probably tired of hearing about them by now. But this is the last game at Cliff Kane for Carly, Jenna, and Maddie. Yeah. With the game at Chrysler on Saturday. You've been here as long as they have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how does it? What are you thinking at the end of the season as it's wrapping up?
I mean, I think that I have a very blessed perspective. You know, like I'm with these girls that are also seniors that I see myself as, you know, class-wise. I'm watching them go through this process of being the last time that they're playing in Cliff Kane and the last road game and all these types of things. And I think it gives me a really good perspective in being able to really cherish and be grateful for the fact that I have another year to stay here and play. So I think that it's bittersweet, and I'm happy to have another year, but it's really hard to see them go.
And Michigan, through the years, has had a long string of excellent middle blockers, and you started here in that environment, of course, behind Claire Kiefer-Wright last season. Now you are the primary middle blocker. You are that player. How does that feel right now with knowing, you know, who has come before you?
It's really weird to hear that said out loud, to be honest with you. I mean, I came in when Abby Cole was kind of in like that whole era, and she rocked the whole gym. I mean, anytime that her name was called, the entire gym knew, like, this is that girl. Like, this is the Michigan volleyball team. And I think that we've always had a really steady middle blocking presence, and I really didn't feel that for a long time until I got hurt, kind of like midway through the season. And being on the bench and just kind of like not only like selfishly I wanted to get back on the court, but I knew that my team needed me too. And I think that that's really when I realized that I'm the senior. Like I'm the one that's supposed to be leading this new class of middles in, and it's super weird, but I think it's something that like just kind of happens like unconsciously.
And about that, you were injured for a large chunk of the season. You know, I'm still unsure about this. Let me ask you, what is your mindset as you're sitting on the bench watching the team player and watching, like, I'm assuming you do a lot of work with Kiara and Kayla and watching them try to fill in for you.
Yeah. It's, I think that I, being a redshirt my first year, had a lot of practice of kind of finding out how to still have an impact on the team when you're not able to play. Like when you're first forced to sit on the bench, you don't know what to do with yourself because for your entire life, all you've done is made an impact while playing. And for the first time, you have to find a way to be able to impact the game by never touching the court. So I think that my mind, as soon as I'm off, I'm in that zone again, and I'm the biggest cheerleader. I'm screaming, like trying to get the refs to throw me out of the game because I can say things that the players can't, you know, stuff like that. So I think that when it comes to like Kayla and Kiara, I don't want to be like the upperclassman senior telling them what to do. But at the same time, I think that we all give each other feedback regardless of if we're playing or not. So that dynamic doesn't really change, but I definitely think I get a lot more obnoxious.
You should have seen the look of horror on our faces when we walked into the Purdue game, and you were there in sweatpants and without your trademark Topknot.
Yeah,
that's how we know you're playing.
Really?
Yeah.
When the hair's up or the hair's down?
Yeah,
that's hilarious. It really didn't start until here, and I didn't know that people recognized it until later on in my season when people were like, oh, teach me how to put your bun up. I was like, this thing? Like, it's just funny. I think it's funny that it's my trademark.
I honestly didn't recognize you at first when I saw you.
Really? I know people say that too. It's so funny to me, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. And you're not the only one that missed a lot of time. Obviously, Sydney missed a lot of time. And she came back today for the first time, I believe, since Ohio State.
I wasn't even at Ohio State, so something like that.
Oh yeah, sometime in early October. I suppose I'm assuming you guys are probably thinking the same things when you come back on the court. How did you feel when you first came back on the court after injury, which I believe was against Wisconsin on the road? Mm-hmm. Yes.
This injury has been really a lot more difficult than any other injury I've ever kind of faced because it was critical. Like when I rolled the ankle, I thought like, all right, it's a rolled ankle. Like you tape it up, you work through the pain and everything's fine. But there was like significant damage done and the ankle itself was really messed up. And so like mechanically, I wasn't moving the same. I wasn't able to jump the same. And even though I'd been out for what I felt like was a millennia, it was like it still is kind of like a growth healing process. And, it was a lot different. It was a lot different than any other injury I've ever kind of dealt with. So it's really made me mature as a person and be really patient with myself and my body. Like I started out being a right side, which I haven't done in a couple years. I didn't do, ever in practice. So it just had a lot. I had to be really patient with my body and stuff like that. But you kind of have to like forgive yourself a little bit instead of like finding ways to push yourself to the limit. You got to give it time. So.
And now this is your fourth season on campus. Now, each of the last 4 seasons, the team has won 20-plus games with your 21st tonight. I'm guessing.
Fun fact.
You're like Sydney. I said something about how she had the highest hit percentage at the time I interviewed her, and she goes, "I had no idea."
Yeah, I think that we just are so involved with each other and like day to day, just kind of like in the moment situations that when we hear big picture stuff like that, we're like, oh, really? That's pretty cool. Like, there's no concept. But anyway.
And you're gonna be the senior figure next season. Yeah. And even among the seniors, I believe Mackenzie did not redshirt.
No.
That you're gonna be likely the primary authoritative voice. Have Coach Rosen or any of the current seniors kind of let you know or work to prepare you for what's going to be on you next year?
Honestly, not really. One of the craziest experiences of my life was coming in here as a freshman and being treated like I was any other class. I mean, like this team, there is no seniority whatsoever other than just kind of like an overall respect kind of a deal. There's really not this like freshman to senior level. I mean, as soon as you get in here, we're getting you up to speed and you're just a part of a family unit now. So it's really, I mean, it's kind of a weird dynamic, but I'm very thankful for it because like moving into this next phase, it's not like a big role you need to step up into. It's just kind of like this natural order of things and everyone is a part of it. It's not like as authoritative as it could be.
Yeah. A couple more questions then we'll let you go celebrate.
Yeah.
I have one. So Cori, it's been what's going on? Okay, cool. It's been there's been a lot of ups and downs this season, especially lately, playing a really tough conference schedule. What's the team mentality like going into this final last hurrah here at Cliff Kane and then going into a big matchup against State at Chrysler Center?
I think that we really try to focus on like one game at a time because as soon as you get way too like down the road, you can overlook opponents and get yourself into a bad situation. I think that like I said earlier, I think that we're really just trying to focus on us and like get our identities back. Like we all sat down and we wrote as a team, we wrote out like what is going on when we're winning games? Like what do we look like? What are we doing? What's happening when we're losing games? And I think that tonight we really embodied what our team looks like when we are being efficient and playing our game. So I think that that's something that we believe right now that everything is kind of in our control. Like if we want to go get it, we have the capabilities and we're able to go get it. So it's really on us to commit to that and get it moving forward.
All right. I've asked every other player I've spoken to about this. Is the last question, then I'll let you go.
Okay.
Obviously, you essentially play with 2 home stadiums, Cliff Kane and Chrysler. What is the difference between playing in Kane versus playing in Chrysler?
I mean, when I came and I visited Michigan, I was a big basketball player for a long time. So like I've seen a ton of gyms. Like
you're tall enough to play basketball.
Yeah, I was. I really embraced the recruiting experience, and I just ran around and did. I went to like as many visits as I could, and what I loved about this gym was how intimate it is, and how like really connected the fans are with you. Like it's not too close for comfort, but at the same time, like you and the crowd and the community supporting Michigan is like all in it together. And that's awesome. And it's positive in its own way. And I think at Chrysler, we have so many people. It's really cool to see how many people in the community really support you. Because like, even though Cliff Kane is super intimate and awesome, it's pretty small and tiny. But when we go over to Chrysler and we fill it up and there's all these people, children to like elderly, just out there supporting you, it's really cool to see these people that you might like see on social media, but like to actually see them in real life and see this like community that's really hype and supporting you. I mean, they're both amazing.
That's a good answer. If you had said Cliff Kane is home word for word, I probably would have cried conspiracy because everyone else has said that.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah,
no, I think it's beautiful.
Save Sydney saying Cliff Kane is Christmas Eve. That's the,
No.
that's the only other unique answer.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
No.
But
I'm ready for that move, man. Whenever that's going to happen, I'm ready. They got AC. That's really it.
all right.
Yeah.
So that's all the time we have. Thank you very much for
Thank
talking to
you.
us. Best of luck against Michigan State on Saturday.
Thank you.
Have a happy Thanksgiving and have a happy holidays.
Yeah, you too. Go Blue.
And thank you very much once again to Cori. Thank you very much to Alex Hsi. My name is Nick Hornburg, and thank you very much to Katie Hewitt for letting us talk. And have a great evening, everybody. And as Cori said, go Blue.